pretty likely by now that most fans of Mike Oldfield, particularly early Mike Oldfield, the first three albums he done, Tubular Bells, Hergest Ridge and Omadon, will have heard of Robert Reid, who has his own series of Sanctuary albums. Also a double album called The Ringmaster. If you haven't heard of Robert Reid by now and you're a huge Mike Oldfield fan, then you've been really missing out on some fantastic albums. Robert's just released his latest offering, which is Sanctuary 4. And it's come a few years after his third album because you had The Ringmaster in between. But it's been well worth the wait. Now, it comes in a number of different formats. You've got the standard CD and DVD version, but you've also got a deluxe version which comes in a beautiful tin with a lovely design printed on the surface of the tin. It's not actually stuck on with a sticker, it's actually printed onto the tin itself, and it looks fantastic. It's limited to 1,000 copies. In fact, unfortunately, I think it's sold out now, at least on one of the retail sites I visited the other day. I think it was Bandcamp. I mean, we're talking about 1,000 copies, and 1,000 copies have sold already, according to one of the pages. But hopefully there's other places you could pick up a copy. But if all 1,000 copies have sold out, then unfortunately I think that'll be it. But if you can manage to get yourself a copy, I thoroughly recommend you do. But I've just received mine yesterday. I've opened it up and I've had a look at the various things in it, the content, and I'll just go through them quickly. So first of all, you've got the standard CD and DVD album, the double gatefold with a beautiful design, front cover by Steve Franco. In fact, I think this is the best logo and design for Sanctuary yet. It looks truly amazing. Also, you've got, I think it's just a guess, about a 30 or 40 page booklet which has an essay at the beginning by Robert Reid himself, talking about the history of the Sanctuary albums and what inspired him to record them. And so it takes you from the beginnings of Sanctuary up to date, and it's a short read, but it gives you plenty of information and it's interesting. And then throughout the booklet you've got some beautiful promotional photos from all the various sessions of the last few Sanctuary albums. You've also got little projects he's done with Les Penning, who also worked with Mike Oldfield years ago. He's done a few singles with Les, and some of the photo shoots from these are included as well. And you've also got a couple from the Doctor Who video that they made with Tom Newman, who also, obviously, Mike Oldfield fans will know that he produced Tubular Bells with Mike Oldfield back in 1973. And it's just lovely to see these two guys working again with a musician like Mike Oldfield. It's given them like new lease of life, these two musicians, and it's lovely to see. And then at the back you've got photos of Robert Reid from 1983, and one of them he's sitting wearing a Crises t-shirt, and he looks a little bit like a Mike Oldfield from the 80s. And you got various photos of him in what looks like a recording studio. So it just goes to show from a very early age he had all the gear and everything to make music. In 1983 I would have been 6 years old. So, but yes. So the booklet, it's on glossy paper and most of the photos are all colour. So it's a good quality booklet. And at the back you've got all of Robert Reid's various releases over the years. what's available, and they're all great. I recommend them all. So also in the tin box we've got a 18-minute CD called Sanctuary 4, the Orchestral Suite. Again, a striking cover by Steve Franco. And this is a CD which consists of 5 themes which have been sort of remixed into obviously a orchestral sounding suite, and they're all good. They all work really well. It's a nice little bonus to have aside from the main album. The only thing which I think Robert missed a trick there, I think he should have segued all the tracks together, made it one long 18-minute piece. But I mean, each track fades out and there's a gap between them, but they're all still great tracks and they're very enjoyable. On the main CD, you've got the 3 tracks from Sanctuary 4. You've got the Eternal Search, Truth and Sanctuary. And then on the DVD, you've got the whole album mixed in 5.1 surround mix. I haven't heard this yet, but I've heard the main album, and the main album's fantastic, really good. I'll get more into that in a minute. And then on the DVD at the end, you've got a selection of promotional videos. The Mathematician's Air Display, Fairy Tale of New York, Little Brown Bird, The Lonely Goat, Willow's Song, and Crime of Passion. And you've got 2 piano performances of Sanctuary 4, which again I haven't heard yet, but I'm sure once again they'll be great. It's just a pity that he never included some of the videos which you can get on YouTube. These consist of an interview with Paul Harris at the Sanctuary 4 album launch, and also you've got a couple of promotional videos for Sanctuary 4 and a couple of interview videos with Robert Reed on his own in his studio talking about Les Penning and Tom Newman. It's a shame these videos weren't included, but I guess some of them were probably filmed after the album went to press, or Robert just felt that he didn't need to include them. It's just a shame, but like I said, you can easily find them on YouTube. They're out there to see. So it's no real big deal, to be honest. It's a little bit like when Mike Oldfield released his Man on the Rocks box set. There was loads of music videos on YouTube and they never made it onto the box set. But that's the only quibble I have about the DVD. It's no big deal. What you do get is well worth it anyway. And also included, you've got several, I would say, art cards. I was going to say postcards, but they're more like art cards of the alternative designs for the album cover, and they all look striking. I mean, they could have used any one of these designs. They all look fantastic. There's 4 in total, and they're double-sided. Actually, there's 5 designs, because on the other side of the 3rd card is a photo of Robert Reed with music going through his head. Music sound waves going through his head, and he's wearing his headphones. And it's got at the top, "In a world of chaos, we seek to find our sanctuary." And it's also signed by Robert Reed as well. So that's a nice little addition to the set as well. And you've also got a personalised little message, just basically thanking you for purchasing the deluxe edition of Sanctuary 4, and just to leave a little review or photo of the package on various websites. So that rounds out the package. So the main album, I would say it's his best Sanctuary album yet. There seems to be a lot more musical variety in this one. I mean, there was a lot of variety in the previous Sanctuary albums and the Ringmaster albums, but this one seems to go in a lot more different genres and directions, and but it's all segued together and it flows beautifully. I particularly like the beginning of side 2, which is quite weird, but it wasn't as strange as what I thought it was going to be, because when I heard like Robert and Tom Newman talking about it, they says, oh, there's going to be this like bizarre bit at the beginning of side 2, and it is a little bit, but you know, it well, I mean, I like Amarok, so and most Mike Oldfield fans like Amarok, so I mean, nothing can be more bizarre than that. But yep, and then you got this strange man at the end seeing rabbits. Mr. Tom Newman there. I'm just still trying to process the album. I've heard it twice now, and I'm just trying to remember bits about it, but it was a very enjoyable listen. A couple of spoilers. So if you don't want the album spoiled, then I'd sort of stop the video now. I would say I'm a little bit disappointed that the Synergy vocals weren't in there, and Horrid Bryn. I think them ladies are amiss in this album, but you know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't spoil the album. It's just they're noticeable by their absence, you know, because all the other albums featured them, and I was waiting for them to come on, but they didn't. But there's different vocals on this album which work equally as well, and it's the couple of videos that have been put on YouTube are from the very end of the album. So the African sort of chanting part is right at the end of the second movement, and the Les Penning and Robert Reed acoustic set is the very last track, Sanctuary. So if you watch them videos on YouTube, you're actually seeing you're hearing the very end of the album. But anyway, that's the only spoilers and little notable things that I've picked up on. It was nice to hear you've got little bits of echoes of Simon Phillips's drum and solo at the end of Crises. That's in there a little bit. You've also got a theme which sounds very similar to First Excursion, with the sustained guitar and the piano in the background. And that was a nice little nod. But apart from that, that's the only like similarities between Mike Oldfield's music, apart from the fact that this album's a long form instrumental. But again, Robert Reed, he's doing his own kind of music. He's got his own personality in there. So it's, you know, people criticise him for ripping off Mike Oldfield, you know. I'm rolling my eyes. But no, I think what he's doing is great. He's continuing that kind of music forward. Because Mike's now retired, so I mean, you know, we need people like Robert Reed and Brett Lewis, who also released his Novatopia CD, which is great. I would thoroughly recommend that as well. So we need these guys to do that kind of music. If we're fans of Mike Oldfield, we need the likes of Rob and Brett to carry this music forward, and I think they're doing a fantastic job. So I would do yourselves a favour, if you're a Mike Oldfield fan, particularly from the early days, like I said at the start, I cannot recommend the Sanctuary albums or the Ringmaster albums or Brett Lewis's Novatopia album enough. I can't recommend them enough. You have to purchase them, and if you can pick up one of these deluxe edition, limited edition tins, then the whole package is very, very worthwhile. There's some excellent things in there. And also, as a bonus, I bought myself a t-shirt as well, which is lovely, beautiful design. The quality of it looks fantastic as well. So I'll be wearing that later on. Maybe just wear it a couple of times at conventions and things, because I don't want it to get damaged or, you know, dog-eared or old. I'll wear it a couple of times and I'll put it back in the plastic wrapper and sort of just get it out as and when I need it. But yeah, so that's just a little review of the whole Sanctuary 4 package. I just thought I'd share that with fans who are, you know, who might not know who Robert Reed is, or they might know who he is, but they're thinking, well, you know, should I get his albums and stuff? But yeah, I would definitely say yes. So anyway, that was Robert Reed's Sanctuary 4. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm going to play it again a couple more times this weekend. I'm going to stick it on my iPod and I'll be trying the DVD out this afternoon. So anyway, thanks for listening, and if you do get Robert Reed's Sanctuary 4, I hope you enjoy it.